Good morning, boys and girls. Mrs. Ferguson here. Today is Friday. Happy Friday to you, October 23rd. And we're going to go over our worksheet that came home in your Friday packet. And it is about how do environmental changes affect living things. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I have the workbook pages on my laptop, and we are going to use those workbook pages to find the answers that are on this sheet. I'm going to move the camera up so you can see the worksheet and the workbook pages at the same time. Here we go. Let me put this worksheet about right here. Hopefully we can see that while we're doing the workbook pages. Let me scoot this down. All right. I think that works right there. Let's go over the directions. On our worksheet it says, fill in the blank with the correct word from the word box. The words in the word box are erosion, drought, flood, living, non-living, survive, ecosystem, resources, environment, and change. I have the workbook pages up over here, and the title is the exact same for Lesson 5, Unit 4, that is on our review sheet. It says, how do environmental changes affect living things? All right, let's see what the first thing says on the worksheet. It says, in an ecosystem, both blank and blank things interact. Well, the workbook pages start off where it says fragile ecosystems. I tried to zoom in on the words to make them as big as I could so it was easier for you to see. Let's scroll down. I see a picture here, and underneath the picture it tells us what's happening in the picture. It says strong winds have destroyed this forest ecosystem. Down below, it starts off by saying, in an ecosystem, both living and non-living things interact. There's our answers for the very first two blanks, living and non-living. When you are done writing those, you can go up and cross each one of them off up in the word box because we're only going to use each word one time. All right, let's pick up where we left off. Sometimes non-living things causes the blank to change. Well, what are we talking about up here? We're talking about the ecosystem. The answer's right there for us. ECOSYSTEM, ecosystem. Cross it off up there in the word box. And then it says some animals may have to leave to blank. Well, let's go on to the next page and see if they give us any information to help us fill in that blank. I see the page that we discussed how the fires destroyed the trees and other plants, as well as the animals' habitats. Well, if these habitats are destroyed, then they have to relocate to find new habitats, just like this coyote did over here. It's trying to find somewhere where it has plants and grass and even some water so it can what? So it can survive. SURVIVE, and cross it off. All right, let's go on to the next page because I have a new paragraph here, and it's going to be all about the right amount of water. It says, plants and animals need water to live, but too much or too little water can have a negative effect on an environment. Let's see if this is what our paragraph is about. Our paragraph over here on our worksheet says, Earth's surface wears down and breaks apart. And then it comes over here and it says, Earth's surface is always wearing down and breaking apart. Exactly what it says over here. Blank is when small pieces of rock are carried away by water and sometimes by wind. Well, we have a highlighted word. We always talk about the highlighted words. Those are important. It says erosion is when small pieces of rock are carried away by water and sometimes by wind. So the highlighted word erosion is what we need to put right here. E-R-O-S-I-O-N. And cross that one off up here in our word box. The next part says, the environment is affected in other ways as well. A blank is a large amount of water that covers normally dry land. Well, let's go and see if we can find that one. Let's go to this page. Here we go. I see two highlighted words on this page, but I'm going to read this up here that is before the highlighted words. It says, erosion is not the only way water affects the environment. Both floods and droughts affect the environment. A flood is a large amount of water that covers normally dry land. Floods can happen very suddenly. Well, that's exactly what we were talking about here. A flood is a large amount of water that covers normally dry land. So let's put flood here. We talked about how too much water can be dangerous as well. Flood. And then in the book, it says, a drought occurs when it does not rain for a long time. Long droughts force people and animals to look for new places to live. Plants wilt and die. Come over here to the worksheet. It says, a blank occurs when it does not rain for a long time. Our highlighted word, drought. D-R-O-U-G-H-T. Cross that one off up in your word box. And then they gave us two pictures to see the effects of a flood and a drought. This one here says heavy rains this week caused the river to rise higher and higher. Nearby fields were flooded. Remember we talked about how the horses had to find the higher dry land because of all of the flooded areas around it. And over here we have a paragraph that says, we have not had rain in many months. We are now in a drought. Look how dry that land is. I don't see any greenery. I don't see trees. I don't see plants, bushes. How would any animal survive on that? That's when they need to go and relocate and find a new habitat. All right. Our last paragraph is going to be about natural changes. It says water, wind, and other non-living things can change the environment, but living things can also cause changes. Let's go over here. It says animals and plants can cause the blank to blank. Let's go, whoops. Let's go down here, scroll down, and it says animals and plants can make big changes to the environment. Here we go. Animals and plants can cause the environment, E-N-V-I-R-O-N-M-E-N-T. That's a long word, environment. Cross it up in your word box. Animals and plants can cause the environment to change. C-H-A-N-G-E. cross that one off. They talked about how the beaver changes the environment when they cut down trees, when they make canals, and when they build dams. Then they also talked down here about how the termites can build mounds as high as 3 stories. That's huge. All right, down here it says people can cause the environment to change by using blank and by causing pollution. Let's go to the next page and see if they give us information on that. Here's the next topic. It says people and the environment. And if we go down here, it says people can change the environment by using resources. That's what we need to fill in for our very last one. R-E-S-O-U-R-C-E-S. Resources. In the workbook pages, it says the resources that trees are cut down to build houses, rocks and stones are dug up to make roads. It tells us that people can change the environment by causing pollution. The exhaust from cars and trucks can pollute the air. Trash can pollute water and land. We talked all about these topics. Remember, we said how we could reduce pollution. We could reduce it by, instead of using several cars on the road, we could carpool. Remember, we talked about that word, carpooling. And that would limit the amount of cars that are on the roads if we all carpooled. Or we could even ride bicycles. We don't cause any pollution when we're riding bicycles. And then we talked about how trash can pollute water and land. We did a really fun activity on that. We don't want to cause the landfills to keep getting larger. We don't want to pollute the oceans and things because that's dangerous for all of the animals. It says here we can also help the environment in many ways. Those are just some of the ways that we can help the environment. It says people sometimes cause events that usually happen naturally. When people are careless, they can start wildfires. We talked a lot about that too. Habitats can be lost when people build dams. In some places, new dams can even cause floods. Well, boys and girls, that was our review for this week. Hopefully, you had as much fun as I did. You boys and girls have a great weekend, and I will see you first thing Monday morning.